Placing the lid on and hi-ya! And hi-ya! That is kind of fun to do. Over here we have the distilled water. Here is the tap water. I guess the distilled water looks a little better. Welcome back everybody. Today I'm back with yet another ice making gadget. This is one that's been going around. I've got so many requests for it I can't ignore it any longer, and that is this double-decker ice maker. What makes this supposedly stand out from a typical ice cube tray is that it's a double-decker. You got two layers here. It has a built-in container, and you have a top that helps push the ice out into the receptacle below. A lot of people have asked me about this one, so let's try it out in today's video. Starting off with the unboxing. All right, let's check out this easy release ice out ice cube tray. I paid $12.99 for this. All right, the first impression is these cubes are a lot smaller looking than I thought they were gonna be. Doesn't mean it won't work though. Right, inside we've got a scoop. Got caution, I'll read that over. Some instructions, read that over too. All right, so it currently has a 4.5 star rating on Amazon, and it's an Amazon's choice. The claims are that it can make 2 sets of 32 ice cubes at once. It will instantly release the cubes with 1 press. I believe you're supposed to put the cubes in there upside down when they're frozen, and these will push out the cubes themselves, just like that. They say it's a compact design that saves space. The lid prevents freezer odors from forming, BPA-free, non-stick, and not dishwasher safe. People on Amazon who liked it, a lot of people liked how much ice it makes. Others say it fits well in the freezer, and quite a few people said it's quite easy to use. Not a lot of cons on Amazon. Some people said that the ice is hard to push out or takes longer to freeze than regular trays. So I'm gonna read this over, wash this out, and then get started. All right, I've read over the instructions. There's not much to it. All you have to do is fill it with water, put it in the freezer, turn the ice cube trays over and press to release. Not much to it, so let's fill it up and see what happens. The first thing I'm gonna do is see how much this actually holds, because these cubes are kind of smaller than I thought they were gonna be. In fact, if you compare it to my dollar store ice cube tray, look how much bigger those are. Now this holds, I believe, 14 ounces of water. Let's see what this holds. Although you get 2 of them there, so this is gonna be double that. Let's see what we got as far as the capacity goes. Here we go. All right, looks like it holds about 10 ounces of water. So 10 ounces for this one, 14 from my dollar store, but this one's also open. It's not protected from the odors in the freezer. It's not a double decker, although you can stack them, but you also don't have the fancy ability to push them out that way. I should also point out, those of you who've been following my ice videos for a long time, my dollar store tray is getting kind of ragged. This one's starting to wear out, but it's lasted me years. So I've got a lot of use for $1 out of that one, but I digress. Let's fill the next one now. All right, I think I've got them pretty well filled here. So let's stack them up and put them in the freezer and see what happens. I got these stacked up, place the lid on here. I'll be curious if these actually go into the top layer of ice. I don't think they will, but we shall see. Now I guess you could technically just put them in the freezer like this without the container, but they show it with the container. So I'm just gonna do it like that, like they show. I'm gonna leave these in there overnight. We'll come back tomorrow and see how they turned out. It's been 24 hours, let's put them in the freezer and see what happens. All right, now according to the instructions, they say on the instructions in microscopic print way down here to let it sit for 1 to 2 minutes. I'll do that and then we'll give it a shot. All right, it's almost been 2 minutes here. I just noticed the inside here is got some frost. We want to be able to see through that. I don't think I needed to put that in this part in the freezer. They show in the instructions, I don't think you need to do that. All right, here we go. Now it's time for the big reveal. So let's take one of these trays here, nicely frozen. They don't say you have to kind of like release it this way. You're supposed to just put it on here face down. Oh wow, we're getting some falling out already. They say put it in there face down, which I'm already getting cubes, which that's a good sign. Then we take the top here and these are going to push down on the silicone base and push the rest out. Let's see. And, oh yeah. That was definitely oddly satisfying for that one. Let's see, any left over? A couple, not much. You can just push those out by hand. That is kind of oddly satisfying, I have to admit. Let's take a look at these cubes now. The cubes are not bad. They're kind of small. They're not bad looking though. In fact, what's weird is they're not even completely square. It's kind of like a little bit misshapen. Let's try the other one now. Here we go. Oh, so they fell out as well. Here we go. And hi-ya! Oh, all of them came out very nice. And we have kind of a decent amount of ice. I think based on my measurements, it'll be about 20 ounces of ice here. Not too bad, really. Some people want clear cubes, which these are not. I wonder if I can make some clear cubes using some distilled water here. Let's see what we got if I can do that. I'm gonna fill these up, go with distilled water, and try it tomorrow and see if there's any difference in the cubes. And I'm gonna leave these in here as well. Oh. I'm spilling more on day 2 than I was on day 1. I guess I'm being a little bit less careful. I'm getting sloppy here. Stack them up. Add the lid. We'll go for round 2 tonight and see how clear these cubes come out with distilled water. All right, day 2, here we go. I just pulled it out of the freezer. Let's take a look and see, number 1, how clear the ice cubes are. Number 2, can this hold more than 2 trays full of ice? We shall see about that. Here you go. Let's take the first tray out and see what happens. Can I fit it in here? Let's see. Placing it upside down, placing the lid on, and hi-ya! That is kind of fun to do. Let's see, did all the ice come out? Well, some of it did. Some of it's still stuck in there, but it's still pretty easy to get out. All right, there we go. Now let's see, are these cubes any better? I guess they're a little bit clearer, but not perfect. Let me pour these out of here. I was kind of mixing the old and the new together. Let's try just the new by itself and see how it looks. All right, here we go. Oh wow, a lot of them came out. For some reason, both times the second one completely emptied while the first one didn't. I guess these are a little bit clearer. Not perfect, but clearer. Over here we have the distilled water. Here is the tap water. I guess the distilled water looks a little better. Is it worth the extra effort? Probably not. The other question I had is, can it hold multiple batches of ice? I would say it can. This is 4 full trays worth, and it's full, but it does hold it. I don't know if you could actually have another one on top of there in the freezer. I guess you probably could. All right, so in the end, I've done a lot of ice cube trays over the years, and most of them have failed miserably compared to the advertising. This one, I think, actually lives up to the advertising hype. It produces a good amount of ice. It's easy to use. The release system seems to work pretty well. So as far as I'm concerned, this particular ice cube tray actually works. If you've used something like this, tell me what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.